donations we get go directly to support the clients. None of it goes into overhead at all. So thank you very much indeed. I shall be joining the other 4,999 people. I shall be there on the 29th. Thank you for letting me have the opportunity of saying hello to everybody tonight. Thank you.
Some of you may be able to smell the dinner, right? So the longer you leave it, it's going to get cold. Our next speaker is Alison Stone, who is the Community Fundraising Manager at Helen & Douglas. If I walk towards you, that means time's up.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much to the Ahmadiyya Muslim elders for inviting Helen Douglas House along to be a beneficiary of the charity Walk for Peace. I came along the first time last year and it's just fantastic. I'm absolutely gobsmacked by the amount of money that gets raised by the elders group. So Helen Douglas House is a children's hospice. Helen House was actually the very first children's hospice built in the world, and that was only 36 years ago, I think it was. Before that, those children they were stuck in hospital wards. So Helen House was built for children from birth to 18 years old. In 2004, Douglas House was built for young adults from 18 years old upwards, purely because when they came of age, they would have to go into an adult hospice, which would be a bit daunting for them. So at Helen Douglas House, we do provide much needed specialist care to children and their families from a 300-mile radius. We're based in Oxford, but we take children from anywhere within that 300 miles because we are specialist-led, and we may have the facilities in our hospice needed by that child that isn't in a hospice near them. It lets parents be parents for a while instead of being carers for that child at home. It's very difficult for these parents to ever get any time without being a carer. So this is what we aim to provide. In Douglas House, our young adult care services, earlier this year, it was announced that we had to close those care services because we just cannot bring enough money in to fund this, which is devastating for these young adults because there's not much out there at all. There's only 4 young adult hospices in the UK, and we were one of them. So now we need help more than ever to keep Helen House running, as it was the first children's hospice in the world, and those families really do need this help. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is the founder chair of Lethality Angel Trust, Lavia Ofori Ajiman. Please, if you could come and say a few words.
Thank you. His and her worshipful mayor, police commander, councillors, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous. My name is Lavia Ofori Ajiman, founder and chair of Lethality Angel Trust. The charity, founded in 2011, was to a cause that's very sentimental to my heart. In 2012, I lost my only daughter. She was 3 years old, to neuroblastoma cancer. Prior to that, during her treatment at Great Ormond Street, I very quickly discovered that NHS does not provide food and nutritional food for parents that stays overnight in hospital with their children undergoing treatment. Out of my own pocket, I developed a meal called the Liesels Mill. Lethality Angel, the name of the charity, was the name of my daughter. I worked in great collaboration with several hospitals, mainly currently Hillingdon Children's Oncology Ward. Through the support of the then Mayor of Hillingdon 2016, we launched the Lethality Angel Meal, which is actively currently being served in the wards on the menu of Hillingdon Hospital, purposely for children whose parents sit overnight with them whilst they go through their treatment. Now, the purpose of this meal is to actually support the nutritional needs, which are very drained and sapped by the demanding aspect of the treatment, which the parents sort of go through. So rather than losing strength, the plan is to encourage and energize them to go through the whole process with their children. This is a flagship campaign which is going down very well. However, due to funding cuts, the project currently is undergoing a halt. The excellent work and very significant work of the Ahmadiyya Society support grassroots communities and charities like ourselves to get back onto our feet. Thank you for the invitation today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. As you know, it's those emotional, real stories that really generate the funds. So thank you very much, and I know how much courage that must have taken to come here. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Sonia Makani from the Harrow Interfaith Group. Please may I request her to come and say a few words.
Hello. Right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and assalamu alaikum to the whole Ahmadiyya community here. It's just brilliant to see all of us here. I hope a number of us are Harrovians, which I'm extremely proud to say that, and a number of wonderful guests from our neighbouring boroughs as well. To come to an event like this and to hear about charities and things which I didn't even know existed. I never knew there was a hospice for children, for a start. And the last speaker, you really moved me because you've done something very unique there. I don't have any speech made up. I'm just saying what I've heard and what comes into my heart. We're all in the house of God right now. You know, this is a place of worship. And isn't it a big accolade for Harrow that we are hosting our Ahmadiyya Muslim community event here for a very wonderful cause in our local church. And I'm very proud of it because I'm also from Rayners Lane, so I'm just boasting a little bit because it's my own territory. By the way, Simon Rose is looking at me. Welcome to the borough of Harrow. You'll get to know that wherever you go in Harrow, although you're a Barnet man and you've come from there, and we know you're also responsible for Barnet, Brent and Harrow, we'll soon have you falling in love with Harrow and forgetting everybody else. Believe me that. That's how the people of Harrow are. And this particular community, I only came across them. I didn't even know that the Ahmadiyya Muslim community existed until about a few years ago when I was chairing the community consultative group for the police in Harrow. And they called us from that time onwards, I think it's nearly 10 years now, we've been to almost all your charity events. They've been very welcoming. They've gone out of their way to show us how they really open their hearts up to everybody. They have some tremendously good events, and promoting peace seems to be a very big thing in their particular on their agenda. And I cannot say enough about them. I should be saying, you may have seen on the table HIF. That's Harrow Interfaith. I can see one or two of my very wonderful members here, Pat Stevens, and I can see. Feroz Aghan, they're the two veterans from our Harrow Interfaith. I can't see anybody else. If I missed them, please forgive me. I don't mean to be awkward. And Harrow Interfaith, I only joined them officially a few years back, maybe 6-7 years back. I've been a vice chair and I'm very much on the executive. And the reason I'm very proud of Harrow Interfaith is because we are, even though I'm told now we're not the #1 most religiously diverse borough in the whole of the UK, it doesn't really matter. We are probably still, touch wood, the most friendly. We go out there, we go out of our way to all the events we're invited to, whether it's a synagogue or a mosque or a temple or whatever. You call us, we'll be there. And we don't just go there for the fun and games. We really want to make sure that every community we're in, we feel really connected. And the reason I find this extremely important and interesting is because I have another hat, which I wear. Simon Rose will know. I'm the vice chair of the Harrow Safer Neighbourhood Board. You say, what on earth is that? It deals with the policing in Harrow, and that board is supposed to make our, Simon Rose accountable that he's using all our funding and everything very effectively, which I'm sure he's doing. But anyway, the point is, what I find very useful is because I'm on that board, I take a lot of these policing messages and security messages and safety and crime prevention back to our faith groups, our Harrow Interfaith. And then we work with all our communities and, feed these messages down. And it works incredibly well. I mean, in fact, I keep saying to all the government's ministers who I bump into wherever I go, that whatever you do, please make full use of your faith groups, because that's an unlimited resource you've got. These are people who are totally committed to community cohesion. And if you look at this board, it says Charity Walk for Peace. The word peace there is very boldly highlighted. And when do we want peace more than today? I mean, just look what's happening out in the world. I needn't preach to you or say anything like that. So whenever we've been out there, I mean, I last remember I was very, very impressed by the huge number of Ahmadiyyas who turned up outside City Hall with huge banners, love for all, hatred for none, when we had all this trouble last year with the Westminster Bridge and all the other bits. It was just horrendous. And all of them were out there. And we had other people who actually came in their own national costumes, which I thought was from other Muslim groups as well, which I thought was excellent. It was very brave of them because they could have been targeted. And I can tell you one thing, the Met Police went out of their way to make sure they're obviously looked after. But Londoners, and of course people in Harrow, we're very much part of London, but Harrow as well, we're extremely conscious that the one thing, it's not worth being around just making money if you can't feel safe in your homes and on the streets, if you can't go out peacefully to work, if you can't come back peacefully, if your kids can't go out, and all the rest of it. It's not just about the policing of it, but this is all to do with your faith communities as well. Now, Interfaith has also now changed their remit to say we include people of faith and no faith, yeah? So we have everybody on there. We've included LGBT as well. We're trying to be as inclusive as we can. And I'll get off the podium now because I'm sure there's others who want to talk and you want to go and have your dinner. I'd rather you have that than have me. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I'm so sorry, because time's against us. Our next speaker is Sheena Dykes. She's the chair at Wickham Homeless Connection, and everybody's time has gone down to a minute.
I'm told I can have two. Distinguished guests, I want to tell you about a girl called Sam. Sam needed to look presentable for homework, but that's really hard when you're living in a car park or sleeping in a car park. Her story was that she was 19 and had to leave her family home through no fault of her own. She went down to the council and she found that she didn't qualify for council help. So in desperation, she came to see us. We put her in a bed and breakfast for 3 nights and were able to help her find accommodation. Now, we can't put everyone in bed and breakfast. We just can't afford to do that. But for her, we felt the stakes were high. And for her, it worked. And she moved on and is doing really well. In our charity, we believe that every individual has worth and should have the chance of a fresh start, no matter what their situation. A bit like Spear, we began 10 years ago when myself and a friend found a lady dead in the car park on Christmas morning of 2006. And we felt that in this country, there should be no reason for anyone to die like that. Every year, we help 500 people who are either homeless or facing eviction. And every year, we need to raise £200,000, and most of that comes from scratch. So we were so grateful to the community last year for giving us a donation from the charity Walk for Peace. And we didn't take part in it last year, but we are going to take part this year, and we're really looking forward to it. So thank you all for all the work that you do. Thank you very much indeed.
Our next speaker is the community member for Hanwell Homeless Concern, and that's Mary Stokes. She could come and say a few words. And Nikki West is straight after her, and then Michelle for Little Miracles.
Good evening, everybody. I've actually come to represent Hanwell Homeless Concern. We're a very small charity, not like a lot of the big charities that are here today. And all of our volunteers are mostly retired people. And the charity's been running for nearly 30 years. And we actually basically provide hot meals for homeless and retired people in the Hanwell area. It was felt by the churches that a lot of the homeless people who were on the streets needed a place to come. They would knock at the church door asking for a sandwich or a cup of tea, so we decided we would try and open our doors and give them a little bit more than that. We provide meals probably between 30 and 50 each day, and we run 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. Most of our support comes from the local community. Local schools, the local food bank helps us a great deal, and also local individuals as well. We do all of our own fundraising. We don't have any help from local government, and we get a great deal of help, I have to say, from the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, and have done for many, many years. They provide us with a great deal of food, which we then actually are able to provide meals for our homeless and deprived people in the Hanwell area. So I'd like to say a big thank you to them for all the help they've given us. And we look forward to going on our first walk on the 29th of April and giving something back. So thank you very much.
Nikki West is from Roald Dahl Children's Society. She's coming up to say a few words. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting us. So I'm from Roald Dahl's Marvellous Children's Charity. I'm the Community Fundraising Manager. We now support over 18,600 seriously ill children throughout the UK. We do that by providing specialist children's nurses. So, for example, in the Whittington Hospital, we now have a nurse called Edith. She supports over 300 children with sickle cell and thalassemia, which is one of the conditions that we help with. We look after conditions that have historically not received so much attention, such as sickle cell, thalassemia, rare and undiagnosed conditions, epilepsy, and also rare diseases. We do that by providing these specialist nurses. Our specialist nurse, Edith, looks after children such as Tay and Terrell. Now, I've met Tay and Terrell. They're just ordinary little boys you would think to look at. They enjoy laughing, they enjoy singing, they enjoy acting. But underneath it all, they have to take medication. That's when it hits home that you realise that they need this specialist care. Edith keeps them out of hospital as much as possible and makes sure they can go out into the community and take part in school, which is very important. She also makes sure that all the children get support with their families as well. We're taking part in the Walk for Peace and we're really looking forward to it. We have over 20 walkers taking part, and you'll see us in our red t-shirts with a big Marvin crocodile on the t-shirt. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you.
So now our next speaker is Michelle King from Little Miracles.
So thank you for having me tonight. 11 years ago, I had a little boy called Oliver. Oliver was born severely disabled. We didn't think that he was going to make it through the first few days. We definitely didn't think he'd still be with us 11 years later. We spent 15 months in hospital. The NHS were amazing. They kept him alive, but they couldn't support me. They couldn't support the other parents in the ward. When we came home, he came home on full life support, and there was just nowhere for us to go. There was nothing for us to be able to do. We went to the local children's centres, and in order to get him inside, I had to take him out of his wheelchair, disconnect him from his life support. And it was so hard, it was so isolating. And Little Miracles started as a direct result of that. So we are a charity that supports families with disabled children, children with additional needs and life-limiting conditions. And we provide support, so counselling, emotional support, therapies, play therapy, bereavement care and end-of-life planning. We have activities, we take the children for days out. We have 4 centres that provide activities every day for these families. And it's a lifeline. Last year we also bought a caravan, that's a fully adapted caravan, to send these families on holidays, and we took 106 children to Disney. This year we're taking 156. We couldn't do it without the support of people like yourself and from the local community. There are currently over 800,000 severely disabled children under 16 in the UK. We are supporting 8,000 of them, but over the next 3 years we'll be supporting over 50,000 children. That's not possible without your support, so I just want to say thank you for having us tonight and thank you for making a difference.
Our final speaker on charities is a charity called Wise Works, and Jane Anderson is here to come and say a few words.
Good evening, everyone. I've only heard about Amadea for about a month, and actually only knew I had to say something about half an hour ago, so I'm a little bit nervous, so please bear with me. I represent an organisation, we are the Friends of Wise Works. We are a non-profit making organisation that raises funds and increases awareness for Wise Works. Being non-profit making, obviously raising funds is very difficult. We have been in existence for about 4 years, and I'm the founding chairperson because I realised as a client of Wise Works, which I will explain in a minute, that I knew funds were greatly needed to continue the work that Wise Works was doing. Wise Works is based in Harrow and is a neighbourhood resource centre providing rehabilitation and training and employability skills, social skills for people recovering from mental health problems. Mental health problems can be widespread. You can be suicidal, depressed, you can suffer from self-harm, OCD, schizophrenia, and you obviously don't have a label and people don't realise that this is happening. In life, 2 out of every 4 people will suffer some form of mental health problem. Mental health affects all creeds, colour, age, values are shunned by family, friends, and they come to Wise Work. And being a client myself, we tend to rebuild ourselves, but again, at our individual pace. At Wise Works, we are accepted for who we are. It is our home. Some of us do go back to work. For me, I got the job of being the chairperson of the Friends. And we just take each day as it comes. Some people, as I say, will go back to work, but some of us just find peace and we're happy with life. We don't, obviously, we would love to have love for all.
Thank you. Okay, nearly coming to the concluding session, concluding parts. So I mentioned earlier on that we could not have done, or we would have done very little if it was not for the help of the Mayor of Runnymede and the Chief Executive of Runnymede Borough Council. So we're very fortunate that the Mayor of Runnymede, Councillor Iftikhar Chowdhury, is here. If I could request him to please come and say a few words. It might be inappropriate to say 2 minutes to him.
I promise you it'll be less. Apologies for coming late. I had an important engagement in Windsor which I couldn't get out of, so apologies for that. Good evening, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honoured to be standing here at the Middlesex Region Charity Walk for Peace dinner today. We have worked tirelessly over the last 6 months, having overcome many challenges, to make this walk possible in one of the most beautiful and remarkable settings in the country. I think it is extremely significant and fitting that the Walk for Peace be held in Runnymede, the wonderful birthplace of democracy, where the Magna Carta was sealed over 800 years ago, and where I am honoured to serve as mayor. Being born an Ahmadi Muslim, I was taught from a very young age the value of tolerance, respect, decency, and humility for all human beings. I was also taught the principal function of our lives is to help those in need, and that is what I always have and always will strive for. I am so happy to see so many representatives from so many charities here today. I've been very, very touched by your stories, and I'm so glad to welcome you at the walk. This will easily be one of the biggest charity events a mayor has hosted in my borough. With, I had written over 4,000, but it seems well in excess of 5,000 walkers expected on the day. But the major difference between this event and the others is this event will not only benefit the mayor's charity, but also charities across the country. I've personally witnessed over many years a significant benefit this walk has given to local and national charities, as the walk has raised millions of pounds for them over the years. This walk is actively being publicised in many key locations in my borough, including Royal Holloway, University of London, St Peter's Hospital, throughout the borough's schools and colleges, and amongst the charity and voluntary groups we have. The event will also offer a large fair, which will be open to the public, providing many food stalls, bouncy castles for the kids, as well as a large number of other attractions. This is something which we have never done in previous walks. It is also quite relevant to note that every single penny collected in this walk will go to the charities and nothing will be taken out by the organisers for administration purposes. I think you will agree with me that this is something quite unique. Finally, I would like to give a big thank you to the Walk for Peace Executive Committee, who have worked hard alongside my own Charity Walk for Peace Mayoral Committee to make this walk possible in my borough. I have to say that I'm truly humbled by the amount my council and my committee has done to support this walk, offering a large amount of resources, from suspending parking charges of a number of car parks in the area, offering many buses which will provide park and ride services, and also offering many of the bins and collection services on the day at the council's own cost. Thank you again, and I sincerely hope to welcome you all with open arms to Runnymede on the 29th of April to be part of this very historic event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Your support has been absolutely fantastic, so we really appreciate what you've done. Now we're having a vote of thanks before the concluding address, which will be delivered by our chairman. So may I request the president of the Greenford chapter, Muzaffar Chowdhury, to please come and give the vote of thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, I really thank you all, your honorable guests, to come here this evening. Actually, I'm the president of Greenford, Harrow, Kenton, all that area is one. And you are in my area today. You see, I just want to make it clear for you see. And my special thanks to the worshipful, the Mayor of Harrow, Councillor Margaret Devine, and the worshipful, the Mayor of Lingdon, Councillor Carol Melvin, and the worshipful, the Mayor of Runnymede, Councillor Iftikhar Chaudhary, you see. And it has given me the great pleasure, and I'm very thankful to you all, because you have come from the different faith of religion, different faith of groups. That is the real unity here. And we are all here for the common cause to serve the humanity. In every religion and in every faith group, the basic thing is to serve the humanity and mankind. All religions are united on this thing, and there is no difference in it. And this gives us a strength, big strength. You see, also it is very important from our point of view because of the wrong work done by a very small minority of Muslim faith. And this has given the back in media. Media is highlighting those things of a very small group and not a noble work of the vast majority of the community. I welcome you all on the 29th of April, and the mayor has himself requested you. And I also want to thank a big thanks to the chairman, Mr. Zahir Jatohi. He is the chairman, national chairman of the walk of the entire UK, and along with him is vice chairman, Mr. Rafiq Ahmed, who is holding the function today. And special thanks goes to Mr. Feroz Patel, who is the chairman of this function today, and this is the chairman of the charity walk for the Middlesex region, because this function is for the Middlesex region today. Along with his team member, I know they have been working very hard, tirelessly for over a period of a month, more than that, inviting you all people, making awareness of this function, and that's a great thing, you see. At the end, I'm very grateful to you all, and have a nice evening, enjoy your lunch and the weekends. And we look forward to seeing you 29th.
So one of the questions that's always raised is that if you're not taking anything from Charity Walk for Peace donations, so how do you pay for all these things today? So the answer is very simple. So we belong to the community, Ahmadiyya Muslim community, and in there is the Elders Association I mentioned earlier on. Every month we pay a percentage of our income to the organisation, and the president of that organisation, who couldn't be here today unfortunately because he's very ill, he asked me to give you his apologies, sincere apologies. His name is Dr. Ijaz Rahman. And he writes then the cheque for our administration. Last year, he wrote a cheque for, I think, £70,000. So that's on top of the 685 that we collect. But we don't take anything from charity. Now, the wonderful man that works with him is the chairman, Zahir Ahmed. And he never likes me telling everybody what he does. But these 13, 14 events that we've held this year, we've been able to bring wonderful guests like yourself, more than 1,000 guests. Each guest is sharing this beautiful idea with 10, 20 people. 20,000 people suddenly know what Charity Walk for Peace is. That's a huge income stream. And it's a positive income stream because it goes back to charity. So the person who guides us, who helps us, who manages us, who tells us off, that's Zahir Ahmed. If I can request our chairman to please come and say a few words and provide the concluding address. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafi. In the name of God, most gracious, ever merciful, honored dignitaries and wonderful charities and other guests, I'm humbled to see so many supporters for Charity Walk for Peace today. Your support is very vital for us to serve humanity. Charity Walk for Peace is founded in the service of humanity, rooted in the call of duty and inspired by the love of God. Charity Walk for Peace aims to relieve the sufferings of poor, the destitute, and the marginalized one, and to promote peace, understanding, and goodwill amongst people of all walks of life. I am enormously grateful for the fundraising support received from the wonderful volunteers of Charity Walk for Peace and hundreds of other volunteers of other charities. Thousands of our volunteers, I mean the Charity Walk for Peace volunteers, raise funds for hundreds of charities every year. These volunteers offer their services to different charities throughout the year. Like you have just heard, that we are working for Red Cross, we are working for OPB, we are working for British Heart Foundation, and so many other charities. We are delighted. I'm thankful to the organizers of this reception, actually. I want to keep it short. I don't want to go in a long speech. I'm thankful to the organizers of today's reception, especially our regional chairman, Feroz Patel, our regional presidents, President Ahmadiyya Muslim Association, and Regional President Ahmadiyya Muslim Elders Association. And I'm really thankful for the management of this church. They allowed us to use this hall. Thank you very much. And at the end, I want to thank all my Central Committee members who traveled with me today, like Rafi, Ashfaq, and many others. At the end, I want to request for your prayers and support for this charity walk, which will take place on 29th of this month. And as you have heard from different speakers, our only purpose is to support local small charities. We do support big charities, but our main objective is to support small charities. Thank you very much. Enjoy the food, and God bless you.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just make one announcement, is that for the guests, if we could have, if you could partake in some of the interviews today, then that allows us to then put them on social media and raise awareness within our own membership, and also the hundreds of charities that are involved with us. So if I could request you after dinner, if the media team, Azhar is here, this is the, media, the head of media, so he may request you, and it's not compulsory, but it does really help. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We finish our session with the silent prayer. We normally raise hands and do silent prayer. You can pray as you like. So please join me in silent prayer. Amen. Thank you.
So the food. Yeah.